The soldiers thought numbers and military training would be enough. Bruce Lee was about to teach them a different kind of math. 8 off-duty soldiers. 1 bar. 1 bet. Nobody could handle all 8 of them. Bruce walked in, heard the challenge, and raised the stakes to $500 each. 3 minutes later, he walked out with their money and their respect. How do you take on 8 trained military fighters and leave everyone wanting to buy you drinks? San Francisco, 1962. A cash-only bar 3 blocks from the Presidio military base. Thursday night. About 40 people. Dock workers. Locals. A few sailors on leave. Old rock and roll from the jukebox. Smoke hanging thick. Navy jacket draped over one chair near the pool table. 8 soldiers occupy the back corner. Off duty. Fresh from 3 months advanced hand-to-hand combat training. Early 20s. Fit. Confident. Getting louder with each beer, but not causing trouble. Just young, skilled, and bored. One of them, Jackson, stands up. 6'2", 210 pounds. Infantry specialist. He's got an idea to make the evening interesting. All right, listen up. Jackson calls out to the bar. My buddies and I just finished combat training. Here's a bet, $500. Says nobody in this bar can take on all 8 of us. All 8 together, at once. Any takers? The bar goes quiet. People exchange glances. Nobody moves. $500 is serious money. 6 months' rent for most people here. But 8 trained soldiers? That's not a bet. That's suicide. Jackson grins. Come on, we'll keep it fair. No weapons, no permanent damage. First person to land a clean hit wins. We're trained military fighters. You really think anyone here can handle that? Still nothing. Then the door opens. Bruce Lee walks in. 22 years old. 135 pounds. Teaching Wing Chun in Oakland, stopped for a drink on his way home. He hears the challenge as he approaches the bar. Pete the bartender, who knows Bruce from previous visits, leans over quickly. Don't even think about it. 8 guys with real combat training. Bruce watches the soldiers for a moment. Not drunk, maybe 2 beers each. Legitimately skilled. Not bar brawler, posturing. These are trained men who work as a tactical unit. But here's what nobody in the bar knows. Bruce has been obsessing over this exact scenario for months. Not for ego, for understanding. How do positioning principles actually scale when you're outnumbered? Where do they break down? Bruce walks to their table. I'll take your bet. Jackson looks him up and down. This kid weighs maybe 135 pounds. You serious? But let's make it a real bet. $500 each. I put up 500. You 8 put up 500 together. Winner takes 1,000. The entire bar goes silent. Even the jukebox song seems to fade. $1,000 total. That's not bar money. That's life-changing money. Jackson's eyes narrow. You're betting $500 you can take all 8 of us? Not take. Control. 3 minutes. No rules except this. First person to land a clean hit on me wins immediately. You get the 1,000. But if 3 minutes pass, and nobody's landed a clean strike on me, I get the 1,000. Plus you all buy me drinks and listen to what I have to say about how I did it. Martinez, stocky wrestler build, laughs. You want us to pay you to explain why we lost? Assuming we lose, you're combat-trained specialists. Bruce says calmly. 8 against 1. Should be simple. Unless your training has gaps you haven't discovered yet. That lands. The challenge to their training, their competence. Pride kicks in. Jackson looks at his squad. They're nodding. Each pulls out money. 8 guys splitting 500 is about $60 each. Manageable. And this little guy just questioned their abilities. You're on, Jackson says. But you're scared? You stalling? Just making sure everyone understands the rules, Bruce replies. No timeouts, no stops. 3 minutes continuous. Clean hit on me ends it immediately. That clear? Crystal clear. Let's do this. Tables and chairs scrape back against the walls. Everyone's watching now. Pete holds the money. 500 from Bruce. 500 pulled from the soldiers. $1,000 sitting on the bar, where everyone can see it. Someone produces a stopwatch. 3 minutes. First clean hit on Bruce wins. 8 soldiers form a circle. Bruce stands center, relaxed. The size difference is brutal. The smallest soldier outweighs Bruce by 40 pounds. Jackson addresses his unit. Voice low. Formation training. Coordinate. He can't defend all sides. Box him in. Overwhelm simultaneously. This is what we trained for. Military tactics. These aren't amateurs. Pete checks both sides. Rolls clean hit on Bruce. Ends it immediately. No groin strikes, no eye gouges. First aid ready, everybody clear. Nods all around. 3 minutes starts now. Go. The soldiers move immediately. 2 front, 1 each side. 3 cutting rear escape. Coordinated. Textbook. Bruce doesn't retreat. He moves into the attack. Front 2 throw coordinated punches. Trained combinations. Bruce's hands redirect both with minimal movement. His body shifts. Both punches hit air where he was standing. Side attackers. Commit immediately. Bruce's footwork positions him where all 4 briefly end up on the same side. 1 soldier checks his punch to avoid his teammate. Someone in the crowd mutters, "He just made them block each other." Soldiers reset instantly. Professional discipline. Spread wider. Jackson signals, simultaneous multi-angle convergence. 6 attack at once from different vectors and heights. But here's the part that made the soldiers go quiet later. Bruce isn't fighting 8 people. He's solving 8 positioning problems. Every commitment, Bruce moves, where only one can reach him effectively. The others are blocked by their own teammates, or at wrong angles. 45 seconds pass. Soldiers breathing harder, not from exertion, from mental stress. Every tactical approach they attempt, Bruce has already solved. He moves through their attacks like water finding gaps. He's tagged 3 of them lightly. Shoulder taps. Demonstrations. I could have hit you here. But no hits on him. Jackson tries a new approach. Split formation. 4 high, 4 low. Smart tactical thinking. Attack different planes simultaneously. 4 shoot for Bruce's legs. 4 strike head and chest. Bruce's footwork adjusts. Hips shift back. Takedowns miss by inches. Hands redirect head height. Strikes into each other's space. 2 low attackers collide. 90 seconds. Halfway. And then Jackson tried the one tactic that should have ended it. Forget coordination, Jackson shouts. Everyone attack. Full commitment. Pure aggression. 8 soldiers rush at once. No tactics. Just chaos and overwhelming force. This is what should work. 8 bodies. 8 angles. Pure simultaneous aggression. No room to escape. Bruce moves through the chaos, like water finding gaps in stone. Every committed attack creates a vulnerability. He's not trying to hit all 8. That would be impossible. Superhuman. Instead, 3 precise demonstrations on the 3 most aggressive, most committed soldiers. Light touch on Jackson's ribs, right where a liver shot would end the fight. Controlled touch on Martinez's neck. Carotid pressure point. Quick tap on Williams's spine. Kidney strike zone. 3 touches in 4 seconds. If Bruce had used actual force, if he'd committed power to any of those strikes, the fight would be over. 3 soldiers down. The remaining 5 would lose all coordination. But that wasn't the point. The point was demonstration. The soldiers stop. Process what just happened. Martinez suddenly blurts out, "Time." Pure instinct from training. But nobody stops the clock. No timeouts. He's breathing hard, staring at Bruce with complete confusion. "How are you doing this? We train 6 days a week. 3 months. Coordinated unit tactics. You're one guy. This shouldn't be possible." Bruce relaxes slightly, still watching all 8. Clock, still running. "You're attacking as a unit to overwhelm a position. I'm controlling your positioning so your unit works against itself." "What?" Jackson wipes sweat. "Every time you coordinate, I move where your coordination requires you to avoid hitting teammates. That split-second hesitation, that's all I need." Williams, younger soldier, asks, "So our training doesn't work?" "Your training works for military contexts. Armed combat, formation fighting. This is different. Civilian self-defense against multiple unarmed opponents. Different optimization. Clock still running. 2 minutes 15 seconds. 45 seconds left." Martinez looks at Jackson. Something's shifting. They came to prove toughness. They're learning something else. "One more try," Jackson says quietly. "Everything we've got, for real." Bruce nods. Clock's running. The final 45 seconds. Soldiers attack with everything. No single tactic. Mixed aggression. Coordination. chaos, trying to find any opening. Bruce continues the same principle. Position, timing, making their numbers work against them. A few more light tags on different soldiers, demonstrations of openings. The stopwatch beeps. 3 minutes. Pete calls it. Time. No clean hit landed on Bruce. Winner. Bruce Lee. The bar erupts in noise, cheering, disbelief, excited conversation. Bruce extends his hand to Jackson. Jackson stares for a second, then shakes it firmly. Respect. All 7 others shake hands too. No hostility. I believe drinks are on you, Bruce says. Jackson actually smiles. Yeah, they are. And you're explaining how you did that. They claim a table. Pete brings beers, soldiers paying as agreed. Bar gradually returns to normal. People still glancing over, talking about what they witnessed. Explain. Jackson says. Bruce takes a sip. You 8 were fighting like one unit against one target. I turned you into 8 obstacles for each other. When you all tried to occupy the same attacking space, I positioned where your coordination required you to avoid friendly fire. Every time you hesitated to not hurt each other, I gained position. Martinez leans forward. That's it? Geometry? Position and timing. You committed to attacks. Commitment means you can't adjust mid-movement. I redirected commitment. You carried past target. 8 uncoordinated attackers create more openings than 8 coordinated ones, because each is predictable alone. Rodriguez, who's been quiet, asks, could we learn this? Yes, but different training methodology than military hand-to-hand. What you learned has value for military contexts, unit tactics, aggressive control. What I practice is individual positioning, geometric problem-solving, both legitimate, different purposes. Jackson counts out money from his squad. Hands Bruce $500. Best money I ever lost. That was an education. Bruce pockets it. If you want to explore this seriously, I teach in Oakland, not selling you anything. Just offering. Martinez immediately takes the address. So do Williams and Rodriguez. As evening winds down, Williams asks, why bet 500? That's huge money to risk. Bruce's slight smile returns. $100 says, I think I can probably win. $500 each says, I've done the math and know exactly what will happen. The amount made you take it seriously. You fought harder. That was the point. I needed your best effort to actually test the principles. Jackson laughs. You set us up from the start. I created conditions for you to give maximum effort. That's the only real test. 3 days later, Martinez shows up at Bruce's Oakland studio. Williams and Rodriguez follow. They train for months, learning positioning concepts that complement their military training. Jackson visits once, watches, takes notes, brings ideas back to his unit. Years later, after Bruce becomes internationally famous through films and television, a journalist tracks down Jackson for an interview about the bar incident. The journalist wants to write about the time Bruce Lee beat up 8 soldiers in a bar fight. Jackson corrects him immediately, firmly. He didn't beat us up. That's not what happened. He gave us an education. We challenged him out of confidence in our training. He accepted out of confidence in his understanding of underlying principles. We all walked away with more knowledge than we started with. That's not a fight story. That's a learning story. Get it right. The journalist, taken aback by the intensity, asks what the most important lesson was from that night. Jackson thinks for a long moment before answering. That being good at something and understanding the full scope of that thing are fundamentally different achievements. We were good at military hand-to-hand combat. We trained hard, we knew our techniques, but Bruce understood the underlying principles that make all combat work: positioning, timing, geometry, force vectors. We had skills. He had understanding. Skills let you win specific scenarios that match your training. Understanding lets you adapt to any scenario, even ones you've never encountered. That's the difference between a specialist and a master. Here's what matters. Everyone wants to be tough, to win, to prove themselves. Almost nobody focuses on understanding principles that work regardless of circumstances. 8 soldiers learned more in 3 minutes than 3 months. Taught them, not because their training was bad, because it was optimized for one thing. And Bruce showed something optimized differently. Do you understand why your approach works? And where it doesn't? Skills beat opponents. Understanding beats situations. What principles are you assuming work everywhere? Subscribe for more stories like this.